homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today we start the fall garden. Well, today I'm going to start my fall garden, and it is July the 6th. It's a Monday. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 6-week beans. Now, 6-week beans are just what they say. From the time I plant them today, they'll be ready in 6 weeks. But I don't double pick these beans. In other words, I let them grow until I just pull them up. The reason being is they come up and produce in 6 weeks. So these beans, the way I generally work them, of course I'm planting them late this year. Wasn't no reason to plant them early. So I'm planting them late. 2 rows will give us an immeasurable amount of beans and plenty to dry for seed. And if you're interested, we're going to do a eBay store and sell seed like this. I get asked all the time if I would sell some of my 6-week bean seeds, because apparently people don't grow them often anywhere else. They're really an Appalachian bean. They're a lot like an old Joe Clark bean, but they're not. Okay, they're a lot like a peanut bean, but they're not. I tried to get peanut beans last year to grow, and when I grew them, they weren't actually like these. They were a lot like them, but they weren't like them. So I'm going to plant these 6-week beans, and then you'll see how we harvest them a little later. But it's July the 6th, August the 6th, September the 6th would be 2 months. These will be ready to be pulled out in 2 months. Okay, I'll just pull them up, throw them in the bucket of the tractor, and take them to the shade to pick. Alright, picking in the shade is way preferable to picking in the sunlight all bent over. So let's go ahead and get these planted. Let's talk about the field here. Now, if you look at this field, you'll see that there's a row right over here is the first row of sweet potatoes. Then there's 4 foot over, and there's 8 foot over. Then 12, 16, and then you see that I started plowing over here, but it's not even with that. But that's okay. We'll line up everything based on from here over. So what I want to do is I want to make it so that I can tend these 100% with a tractor and don't have to tend them any other way. There won't be a whole lot of weeding. Like I said, this is July. We've plowed this, we allowed stuff to sprout, and then last night I came out and plowed it again. So there's not going to be a whole lot of stuff. So the way I'll do it is, right here's 4 foot from the sweet potatoes. So I'll probably come right over in here, right about there, and plant my first row. Then my next row, I'll come all the way over here and plant. And what that'll do, it'll allow me to drive between the rows of beans with my tractor and not have to run a hand tiller down it. Alright? It'll also keep down weeding and all that stuff. Now, what's going to happen over here in this part, we'll talk about that a little later on in the year. This part will get planted somewhere about July or August, about August the 1st. Okay, so we're going to plant these 6-week beans. Now, if you look at them, these seed were saved in 2018, the end of 2018, so they're good 2019, 2020, 2021, 22, and 23. These will be good for 5 years. They'll be good to 2023. And they'll probably be good past that, but their germination rate will be low. So these are good for 5 years. That's what I keep these beans, and I just keep them in a tote in our basement. Okay, they're in a Ziploc bag and a tote in the basement. Now, I use an EarthWay planter to plant these beans. This is my little EarthWay planter. I've already gone ahead and put a pea and bean plate in there. And what's going to happen is it's going to drop these beans one about every 2 or 3 inches. Now, you can go back. We've got a video about how to set up the EarthWay planter and how to figure out how far apart it's going to drop the seeds. We put that, I'll try and put a link to it right here, but you can go back and look at that. Now, all you have to do for the EarthWay planter, I love the thing, because used to, when I was a kid, my job was to drop the beans. I would go along and every 3 inches I'd have to drop beans down the row. And as I dropped them, and these are heirloom beans. These are beans that have been in my family since I was 8 years old. And they were probably in the family 50 years before that. So, and I'm 57, so, okay, they're 100-year family heirlooms. So I'm going to go ahead and get these. My job was to drop them. I'd drop the beans down the row, and then somebody would come back over and cover them with a hoe, and then somebody would come back over them and fertilize. This EarthWay planter stops all that. You just take the beans, and I don't fertilize these, by the way. Beans grab their own nitrogen, so I don't fertilize them. Now, you just take those beans, put about that many in your EarthWay planter. And now I'm going to go down the row. Let me put these where they won't get wet. The dew's on heavy this morning. Okay, this is real quick. So I'll go ahead and run it down the row, and it doesn't take long to plant. I love this planter. Okay, you should definitely check it out and think about getting one. This is 2 100-foot rows I'm going to put in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Okay, that was a 100-foot row in real time. Can you imagine doing that by hand? Wow! That EarthWay planter makes life so much simpler. With bush beans, with corn, with cornfield beans. You know, it just makes life so much simpler. I wish I could come up with that for tomatoes. Now, I'm sure it'll do okra, but I don't know about... You'd have to have a lot of okra seed, but now I get a lot of okra seed, so I should probably try that with okra one of these days. I love gardening. Plant something new at the same time you're harvesting something else. Woohoo! Let's get some squash. First squash harvest. Oh, and I did harvest some more cabbage too, but that's giveaway cabbage. I love the summer. Anyway, if you like this kind of stuff, this homesteading, do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to the channel and subscribe. We do this homesteading, prepping, self-sustainability stuff every week, sometimes 1, sometimes 5 videos. Just depends on what's going on in the homestead that week. If you click the little bell when you come to the channel, it'll notify you when we upload a video. We upload every Sunday. With that being said, it's time for me to get on to the next thing.